And now let's take a little time to reflect upon this rare and precious life that we have, using the advice of Lama Tsongkhapa for inspiration. This opportune physical form is worth more than a wish-granting gem. You only gain its like the once. It's so hard to get, so easily destroyed. It's like a lightning bolt in the sky. Contemplate this and you will realize all worldly actions are but window chaff and night and day. You must extract some essence of this life. I, a yogi, practiced in this way. You, wanting liberation, should do the same. I do concur. I think it's some pretty solid advice here. This opportune physical form is worth more than a wish-granting gem. As we begin this New Year's Day, I find that first sentence in the verse, just like the key to it all. Another way of translating it that you'll hear me say all the time is a rare and precious human birth favorable to Dharma practice. Look around, there's over 8 billion humans on this planet. And how many of them have a rare and precious human birth favorable to Dharma practice? You think, well, isn't it most humans? And you look around, look at all the suffering, look at all the struggles, look at all the stress, the worry, the anxiety, the therapy, the starvation, the trafficking of people, the wars, the violence, the harm. Yeah, no, it's certainly not all people. And then you look at all the people who are not struggling with finances or violence or trafficking or harm, or not in prison, not in a war, in the sense of even being near one. Look at people with wealth and resources, luxury. Do they still have mental, emotional struggles and suffering? Do they have therapists and psychologists to help them through a day? Do they have happiness, joy, inner peace, well-being? Do they even have an interest in the causes of ethics and compassion and loving kindness, the conditions that support those aspirations of well-being, of meaning and purpose? And look around and we can see that while there's a yearning for well-being, there's a yearning for lasting happiness, there's a yearning to have some serenity and peace. There's even a quest for it. So many are seeking it in people, places, and things that cannot provide it. They're confusing momentary pleasure with a sense of worth and value and well-being, resiliency. There's a big difference between feeling good and a sense of worthiness, value, well-being, and resiliency, which could feel very good. It can feel like a state of contentment. But often it's confused with acquiring this or having people think of us in a particular way, or a life that we think, if we have this or that and these conditions and that job and this stability, then we'll be happy. Then we'll be okay. None of that is a rare and precious human birth favorable to Dharma practice. Such a life favorable to Dharma practice means that it's favorable to the causes of well-being, favorable to understanding the causes of suffering. Dharma is about truth. Not just Buddha Dharma, but truth, Dharma. A life that is suitable, that is aware, that has suffered enough, that has sought enough, that has created the conditions to understand true causes of suffering arising from our own mental and emotional states, and true causes of happiness and well-being that arises from our mental and emotional states, what we bring to the world, how we live our lives, the purpose and meaning, the connection that we have with others, and an understanding of our interdependence with them. And it's a small percentage of humans that have suffered enough, struggled enough, thought enough, grown enough, created the conditions, and found the resources that have been provided by others to have come together in just such a way on this New Year's Day to have an opportunity to be here in this moment with these conditions and an opportunity to transform our lives in ways that are truly meaningful. This rare and precious human birth favorable to Dharma practice. Incredibly rare, really. And we've been handed the guidebook. The practices that eliminate suffering and cultivate well-being. The practices are available. The path is under our feet. So, how about we grow this path in our hearts and minds? Grow these practices in our lives this year. Set some clear intentions to add some really healthy activities in our lives that support lasting, genuine happiness, well-being, meaning, and purpose. Not big, dramatic changes, small tweaks, little bits here and there, a good structure to put ourselves in a supportive environment to grow, to learn, to understand, compassion and wisdom in our lives, to reduce suffering and grow well-being. What are some good structured activities and situations we can engage in? And I invite you to take a little time this morning to, reflect on that. Nothing super major, just steps in the direction of the path and how you can create the conditions to grow the path within your hearts and minds in ways that are productive and meaningful for you. This day comes only once, and we don't know if we have a year ahead of us, but we have today, and it's good to set ourselves up. So if we do have another day, it's one we feel good about.